Good afternoon, everyone. Day one at KBS 2016 is almost to the end. And you know how that saying goes, you like to end off the day with a bang? Well, we're going to do that today with the Innovative Showroom Awards. But before we do that, we are going to have a panel about the importance of the showroom in the kitchen and bath industry. Last year was the first year that KBS had the Innovative Showroom Awards, and as a testament to the importance of showrooms, we had amazing response. So this year, in the second annual Innovative Showroom Awards, we're thrilled to have our sponsors, American Standard, DXV, and Growy. And this year, also something different is we now have an advisory panel to help us, form the future of the showroom for the kitchen and bath industry. And this is who we have sitting here today. First of all, I'd like to introduce the moderator of the panel, Jean-Jacques Lenoff. And Jean-Jacques is the Vice President of Design for Lixil Water Technology Americas. Jean-Jacques?
Good afternoon. And thank you, Leanne, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. I am Jean-Jacques Lenoff, the Vice President of Design for Lixil Water Technology America. We have the brands the American Standard, DXV, and Growy. And it was important for us, since this year we were coming back at KBS, exhibiting at KBS, it was important for us to actually be part of this discussion about showroom, because my team design products, but our products really exist only within an environment. And so the showroom environment is extremely important for us, because that's what conveys basically our design intent, and that's what really helps us communicate to the end user. So I'm very, very pleased to be here. And I want to introduce our panel. So Nancy Epstein, Michael Maloney, Therese Kenny, and Mark Main. I would like, maybe you can say a few words to introduce yourself and the companies that you represent.
Okay. Oh, the mic does work. I'm Nancy Epstein. I'm the founder and CEO of Artistic Tile. We are importers, distributors, retailers, and surprisingly to most people, manufacturers of tile and stone products in the luxury sphere. It is a family business. We do our manufacturing in our distribution center in Secaucus, New Jersey. And we really believe that innovative showrooms are the key to the future.
Hi, I'm Mark Main. I'm co-owner of Minnesota Cabinets. We're located in Clive, Iowa, which is a suburb of Des Moines. My background is I grew up in a family, my father's a custom home builder, remodeling and high-end products. Recently, the last few years, gotten involved in a cabinet business that has a showroom. So I kind of take a look at things from both the consumer end of it and also from the retailer end of it.
My name is Michael Maloney. I'm the Director of Marketing with Coburn Supply Company. We're a regional wholesale distributor in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee. I'm filling in for somebody today, so I hope I can answer all the questions that were delayed getting here. But we are a wholesale distributor, but operate 28 showrooms within our footprint, and we really are taking to innovative design to access and reach our customer base.
And my name is Terry Kenny. I am the sales and showroom manager of Insignia Kitchen and Bath in Barrington, Illinois, which is a large kitchen and bath showroom. We're a full-service design build company. I've been in this industry for 20 years, grew up as a sales designer. So from a designer standpoint, I know how important it is to represent good products in an innovative way. But at the same time, as a sales manager, I know that my customers and my designers need to have the right products in their showroom to show. So glad to be here.
Great, thank you. So maybe for a start, let's start with this question. What are the biggest factors driving the need for innovation in the showroom environment today? Maybe Nancy.
I think we all know the biggest factor that's really requiring showrooms to innovate is the internet. On the internet, it's very easy to people to buy products. Showrooms have to sell solutions. People really aren't just looking for a faucet or a tile. If they're doing a renovation or they're doing a new build, they are looking to create a space that works for them and within their budget. It's very easy to research products on the internet. It's very easy to buy products on the internet. So showrooms need to take things up a notch. They need to have the best possible salespeople who are well trained. They need the best possible products, and they need showrooms that really can show the product as a solution, because that's what they're selling, as a solution.
And I think our products, I would just to your point, I think having the showroom to be able to demonstrate the space to a homeowner, letting them touch and feel and know what that cabinet feels like when they close that door, looking at the tile and a whole project put together, while it may not be exactly what they're looking for, they get the confidence and the comfort level of having someone behind it that says, hey, you know, this company knows what they're doing, they have the products that they can represent, and feel comfortable making a decision, like you were saying.
Very well. So can you give me an example of the psychology behind innovative displays or product merchandising?
Yeah, we believe that psychology for the showroom actually starts before the client ever gets there. But once they do pull in the parking lot, you know, the facade of the building needs to be up to date and fresh. The grounds need to be clean, so the client can feel that, you know, comfortable before they even get out of the car. What we did, like on our front door, was we had a custom 1/2-inch thick steel plate, laser cut with our logo as the handle. So first thing that the client grabs and holds onto is a piece of quality. You know, I mean, it starts at that point. Once they open up the door, you know, we need somebody there to greet them with a smile instead of somebody standing around. That's the last thing you want, is somebody to come in and you've got this wonderful showroom and there's nobody there to take care of them. So really the psychology, you know, that salesperson, we even look at it, it's not really even a receptionist, it's a tour guide. We want them to take the customer once they come in, you know, here it is, they've got a great view of the showroom, there's somebody there, now it's time to take them on a tour. And we do that because it's not just, oh, we're going to show them, you know, this cabinet, that cabinet, we want to show them the whole kitchen or the whole bath. So we let them take them on a tour, we take them back to we have a full functioning kitchen, you know, so don't just, hey, can I get you a beverage? Let me show you. We can get a beverage out of the integrated refrigerator, out of the Miele coffee, built-in coffee maker. You know, it's just to engage the client. It's this whole experience that happens. You know, we use smart TVs throughout the showroom. They're a great technological tool, but what we do is we have them, you know, kind of on a slideshow of past project we've done. You know, it starts to build the confidence. Here's what we can do. You know, we're also technologically, you know, advanced enough to have these things. It just shows that you kind of know what's going on. But really, the psychology at the end of the day for us is we want to show the customer, you know, they're buying from us typically a whole project. It's a whole kitchen. It's a whole bathroom. So we're not focusing on, oh, here's one cabinet or here's a faucet. The psychology is, you know, here's what the whole thing is. It's in the human scale. You'll be able to touch and feel and measure and how big is my counter going to be compared to this counter. You know, we just take that psychology from point A to point Z, and you can lose your client at any time in there if you aren't careful.
And I'll add to that. In our showrooms, we have done some consulting work with Rob Best, and he's an innovator in this industry on the psychology of showrooms and design. And we've taken that by looking at how we lay out our showrooms, making sure that there's enough space between the vignettes for people to walk down. They're open. You create focal points where people can direct, because I think when you walk in, there's so much that you can see in a showroom. So if you can narrow their focus into different spaces and create tactile points. One of the big things that we do, we have working kitchens just like you are, but what we'd like to do is bake cookies in our ovens. Nothing better than having a customer walk in and have the smell of fresh baked chocolate chip cookies in that showroom. It creates a warm, homey environment and something that everybody can relate to. So it plays on everything that Mark said. You want to make sure that the psychology with that is to make sure that they have a comfort level when they walk in. Somebody to greet them, somebody to walk them through and listen to them, so you can solve their problems and help them understand, here's what I have and here's what we can do for you, and you become that value resource for them.
So creating an inviting environment, basically.
Right.
So along these lines, what do you have in your showroom, or what do you see coming in the showrooms that you would have never seen 10 years ago?
Well, I think the biggest difference in the showrooms is what the clients are coming in with. The clients are coming in with a much larger base of knowledge from having done research. We find that the majority of clients that come into our showrooms have already gone to our website and researched us, and are coming in based upon what they're seeing on the internet, and then they want to experience it. So 10 years ago, we could tell a client, we'll check stock and get back to you tomorrow. Today, there is a need for an instant answer. It was 10 years ago that we would have one customer service person for 4 salespeople. Now, basically, every salesperson has a customer service representative that works with them. Because when the salesperson is on the showroom floor and a client has a question, we need to have somebody to answer that question and answer it quickly. We have to hold hands much more than we ever did in years past. Clients are more savvy. They are more needy at the same time. They think they know things that they may or may not know. It's really very much a hand-holding industry. And if we're going to compete against the internet, and we're going to compete against, in my case, price cutters, we're going to have to compete with excellent service, excellent environment, and excellent answers.
In our showroom, we have a variety of different products and vignettes that demonstrate some of the things that we've got going on. So when I got the list of questions that we were going to talk about, I opened it up to my designers so that they could help me answer these questions. I don't have all the answers. So some of the things that they came up with were, the organizing things, that the space organizers that are inside all of the cabinets that we have. And some of them are very innovative, and they take advantage of the space like many people need to. LED lights. This is one of those things that's a little subtle. We use them under cabinet lighting, but we've changed up our entire showroom to LED lights. So we can demonstrate to a customer that this is what the kitchen is going to look like, or what this LED lighting is going to be like. We also have an LED lit backsplash. It's a glass backlit backsplash. We have a curved shower door. 10 years ago, who thought that bending glass could really be done and done well? And it is. It's done well. It's beautiful, and really shows off one of our bathroom vignettes beautifully. So those are some of the things that we have in the showroom.
So I'd like to go back to something Nancy said just before about competing against the internet, speaking about technology. So the internet gives access to a lot of information, and I'm thinking especially about Pinterest, House, and all these websites. So is there a way, does that hinder your customer relationship, or can you actually turn that around, and
we turn
can it help you
We use it.
in your relationship with your customers?
We use it constantly.
For us, it makes life easier, yet harder. Our showrooms have always been set up into real-looking vignettes, so that's not new or innovative in our showroom. But it is hard for a salesperson to really understand what a client is looking for. So when they can go through somebody's wish list, and they can go through their Pinterest and their house sites and see what it is that they're liking, it makes it much easier for them to show them products that are suitable, that create the mood and the atmosphere the client wants. It's harder when a client comes in and they just want this one particular thing that may or may not be right for their lifestyle, where they are in life. I mean, talking about accessible design, we always found it remarkable that so many people that should really be thinking about accessible design didn't want to broach the subject. So if you see a product for a client that they're saying, oh, this is exactly what I want, and you really don't want to sell it to them, that's when it becomes a hindrance.
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else here, but I've had a few clients over the years that I had to ban them from using House at a certain point in the project.
They kept changing everything?
Well, yeah, a handful of photos and images is great, but when they bring hundreds of them in someday, it's like you've just confused the process, not only for yourself, but for us. But in order to kind of overcome that, we just take a look at, okay, now the designers have a little more of a challenge. You have to get the client to let go, and we found one of the best ways is, if we get a good set of drawings or some renderings or something to create an image that can become their image, that they can then focus on that instead of the millions of other photos that are out there, that's the best way to approach it.
So maybe that's a good transition to our next question. I mean, is there some technology that have emerged that are making that sale a little bit easier? And you mentioned renderings, for example, and drawings and so forth. Are there some sales tools that have emerged recently that you think are really helping you today?
On our end, what I think the technology that's the most accessible for everybody is just the use of the web in a mobile application, in a mobile platform inside the showroom environment. It's so easy, the technology is there and it's accessible now that you can walk them through your showroom using the tactile vignettes that you have, but then you can also offer different things and show them other things that you may not be displaying but have access to. So you can create a whole picture of what that's going to look like. And then you can develop further on by creating order efficiency while you're in there as well, and following up after that sale or purchase order is created or bid has gone out. You can use the web emailing and contacting with the customer afterwards to make sure that you're top of mind with them. And I think it's easier for us to do that now than it was prior or in years before, but it's also harder because everybody's getting shot at with the web and with the internet. But you use the technology as a pivot point, and then you can actually, they'll know who you are before you walk in. So you have to live up to what their expectation is, and everybody has a different level of expectation. So you have to, our sales consultants have to measure that up and discuss with them what are your needs, and then you can use your vignettes in your showroom as that base point, but then use access to manufacturers' websites, your own website itself, to further that experience along.
Now, what about social media?
I think
part of your process.
An extension of what Michael was just talking about. Social media is a great tool, but I know that in our environment, word of mouth is still the number one thing that we're focusing on, but people don't engage in that face-to-face like they used to anymore. So the social media is a great tool to be out there. It builds confidence when people see, they're going to go to your website probably first. So, we have to have a good website. It has to be engaging and show what it is to at least, capture them. And then, using other social media, sending out, things on Facebook, and, it's a new design trend. It's, these bits and pieces to help fully keep them engaged, to get them into the showroom. I mean, that's the number one thing. And then once they're there, you got to make sure that, what your social media is out there is a reflection of what your business is, and be careful. I've seen some people getting so involved in it and wanting to be such trendsetters that they start doing things that don't really reflect what they're doing, or it kind of gives a bad image. So that can be a hindrance if you're not careful.
You don't want to play above your head in that regard. And for us, we've used social media with our showrooms to engage the customer and to use it as a platform for recommendations and for other people to get involved with their social networks. We have on our doors to check in with all the major Facebook, Pinterest house, Instagram, everything like that, and using that as a way for them to check in with us and gain visibility through their social networks. I do have this past Christmas, we had some of our showrooms that took it upon themselves. If y'all have kids, you've all known about the Elf on the Shelf. Well, they actually did some really interesting things with the Elf on the Shelf and highlighting product every day. And they would hashtag our showrooms with our manufacturers and push that out. And it really got a lot of play. And we picked up users and people that followed us because it was funny. It doesn't have to be in the box with your traditional marketing or advertising, but you can be tongue-in-cheek and you can be quick with it. And so you can respond to it. So they're fun. It's fun to do that, but you can definitely get caught up with it and go the wrong way really quick. So we allow our showrooms to have their own Facebook pages. We create content for them to be able to pull from and use to keep them fresh. And then we'll actually push some things out on their page as well. I'm an administrator, and there are a couple of other people that are administrators on it. So we'll be able to respond to people that have questions or comments, and get in front of that and use that to extend the customer experience.
Social media for us has become a full-time position within the company, just monitoring, pushing, getting information to people. We use it two ways. First, we introduce normally 5 to 7 new products every month as Artistic Tile, and getting that initial information to people is great. But as I said before, most people aren't buying products, they're buying solutions. So they'll look at it, it's nice, it's beautiful, but what they really want to see is finished installations and jobs. And we use the social media to share our clients' photographs with everybody else on our Facebook and Instagram pages. They are what gets the most hits. People want to see finished jobs.
I agree.
Very well. And so now what's in the future? What's coming? What's next?
I wish I had a crystal ball to be able to answer that one. One of my designers suggested that 3D printers might bring the design industry some interesting opportunities. It's an interesting idea. The thought behind it is interesting. I think it's a ways off, but you know, the 3D
We use
printer.
3D printers already in the tile
Yeah,
industry.
see,
yes.
there you go.
Because we're
I'm not sure
making a
about
lot of
showrooms, but-
dimensional products,
Yeah.
and to see how many different levels we want it at, and what undercuts and twists and shapes.
We were looking at it like the Star Wars replicator or Star Trek replicator. Yeah, you just never know.
We just started printing faucets actually this year.
There you go.
It is
So
coming
there you
on
go.
the
It's
product side
coming.
as well.
It's
yeah.
coming. So the 3D printer, I think, is probably one of the biggest things that you're going to see. So
What about, I mean, CES was 2 weeks ago. Any thoughts about virtual reality? It was a big topic this year. I know that Lowe's is looking at creating environments that you navigate through and give you an idea of your future home or future bathroom.
I think we use that to a certain extent already with some of the 3D programs that we have, that we can create that environment for them. Even just our drawings are an opportunity for customers to feel the room
Get
itself.
immersed, you know.
But at the same time, I think that they still need to touch and feel. They need to know what that cabinet feels like. They need to know what that tile looks like and touch it and feel it, and the countertop, and putting it all together. As good as some of the printers are and some of the screens are, it's not always the same color. It doesn't render the same way. So having it real life in your face is probably the most important.
That's a big part of the design of the products. Actually, is that the tactile aspect and the interaction with the physical interaction with the product. So showrooms are safe for a very long time.
I hope so.
So now, broader question. Innovative showrooms, the wow factor. So, in a broad sense, what is innovation in a showroom atmosphere? Like, how would you?
I think it really depends on what your product is, what your business model is. You know, it makes a big difference. But for us, one of the big things that we've tried to focus on is when somebody comes in, they may have been to other showrooms, they may have been in other places, and sometimes they've got so much information, they're so bombarded, they're overwhelmed, that we want to create an environment where they can come in and just enjoy and have fun and relax. And if you can get through whatever innovations you can do to get the client kind of back down on the ground and bring a smile back to their face and let them have fun with it, then you're more likely to be able to.
So it's
Which
more
is
the
why we
experience.
serve wine every day at 4.
Or cookies.
I'm coming next week.
Perfect. I think that one of the things we all think about is how do we innovate our showrooms? How do we change our showrooms? How do we upgrade our showrooms? How do we keep up with the greatest technology? And it is all really, really important. But it's also really important, especially today, to have highly trained sales staff who are listening to your customers, who know your products and know your products well, and can be really there to guide a client. The clients want more and more from our sales staff, and we must continue to train them on a constant basis to keep them at the top of their game.
If I can add to that, we sell at our showrooms, we have our showroom side. We also sell air conditioning products to a dealer base, and we also sell lighting. And those two actually blend together when you're building a house on your home's efficiency, with your heat load that is generated from that lighting. And a few years ago, we discussed how that affects your home. And what we do is we hold courses to educate not only our air conditioning contractors about how lighting affects that in the heat load calculation, but inside the showroom as well, so the customer knows LED bulbs will actually help lower that, can help make your home more efficient, not only on the electrical side for the lighting side, but on your air conditioning side too, where it's having to raise to the level to meet that demand. So I think looking at a whole home solution with us, because of the breadth of products that we do sell, helps us stay in front of the customer a little bit longer.
I know for our showroom, people come in and expect cutting edge design. So they're looking for the latest and greatest in product development and design and how it's applied. They may not necessarily use that particular product in their project, but it is something they're looking to place their confidence with people who are willing to experiment, who are willing to put themselves out there a little bit as far as design. Sometimes your showroom is a little bit like a laboratory where you're experimenting, you're experiencing, you're putting things together. And it could be a do as I say, not as I do kind of situation, but better to have that in your showroom than in a customer's place, and to be able to speak to them about it. So from that innovation standpoint, it's almost better. It's not a bad thing necessarily to have a mistake made in the showroom so that you can actually talk to it and have that discussion. So
there's a reason why auto manufacturers put the prettiest car in the center, and then you can show that as innovation and new technology, but work down on a price point if you need to, or up as you need to, and because you can show how that flows through a brand or through a manufacturer or through a product type.
One of the other big things we're starting to focus on is we have a space next to us that's an interior design studio. We've got a slab room that we carpeted instead of just doing a concrete floor, and put good art lighting, and if one slab at a time is not, so when the customer goes in there, we want them to feel all these things. But the other thing is to have those other products there that keep the customer coming back, and then to allow them to say, hey, if you're working with an architect and you guys need a space, and come use our conference room, or hey, let's leave all your sample products here, we'll get a box for you. Every time you come in, you can, if you want to meet with your, whoever, your plumber or whomever, those products are all in that box. Pull them out so that it just keeps them coming in, so that it's top of mind. It's all that.
Pretty great. Well, it sounds to me that with all the innovation and technology in the world, at the end of the day, it's all about assisting the customer to make a decision that can be very stressful, right? So the human aspect is still actually the main driving factor, which is great to hear. So very well. Well, thank you very much. I would like to open it to the audience. I don't know if anyone has any question for our panel members.
we must have covered it pretty well then.
I guess we covered a lot of ground already.
Either that or everybody stayed out too late last night. For us, it's important to have at least a functioning kitchen to be able to demonstrate the use of appliances and how the space might work. Beyond that, having more than one functioning kitchen might be a little overkill. You still need to show how a faucet works and how, that kind of thing. So we use our powder rooms and bathrooms as additional bathroom displays so that we can show how a sink would integrate and how a laminar faucet flows and that sort of thing. The electric is a big deal, though, to show the difference in the color of lights and that kind of thing. And some of the innovations in countertop grommets and plugs and USB ports and all that kind of thing is important to be able to show. It doesn't necessarily need to be live, but it should be fabricated into what you're showing so people can understand how that's going to integrate into their lives in their own kitchens or projects.
The sensitive touch with shower heads. We have live shower heads that you can turn on each one so the customer can actually put their hand in and feel what it's like, see the spray. Where you can see that on the web or in a hand, pamphlet or whatever it is, but and look at the shower head and see the spray, but to feel it, you understand what it's going to feel like when you step inside. So that extra sensory tactile experience really does help the customer move along into what they like and what they don't like.
One of the other things we've done is with our fully functioning kitchen is we kind of allow the community to come in, not-for-profits, other organizations to come in and use our space for fundraising, whatever, board meetings, and it just brings more people into the showroom and they can actually use a kitchen and see what's new out there. It's just been really helpful to us.
There's one thing I would say if any of you are planning a new showroom. It's more important to display what you have and show it well than to have every product that's on the market.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
you'll never be
course.
able to educate your sales staff on every product. People aren't coming into a showroom to see every product. They are coming in to see you and to have you resolve their kitchen, their bathroom, their living space. They want your opinion. It's not a self-service industry. So doing the very best for the lines that you do carry rather than have everything, I think is very important.
I agree.
Yeah, you're the curator, actually, of what
Yes,
goes into the room.
people expect you to be the curator.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't go into a showroom at all if they already knew what all the answers were.
Right.
They're coming to a showroom for expertise.
And you
And
should-
they want to know that you've selected the best products.
And you should always edit that. Continually edit and keep saying that, we always say that more is not better, it's just more. So
Exactly.
you have to edit that continually.
Definitely.
I think simple elegance, that's what we always focus on, is just, keep it simple, get enough product out there that you're showing it, and don't overwhelm the client.
And keep your showrooms clean, clean, and organized.
Yes.
Okay. Ideally, you would want visual information from the client as to what their house looks like, what a bathroom looks like, in order to be able to properly advise them. I would assume they will come back more than once. What kind of information do you solicit from the client in order to be able to make that kind of decision?
So what kind of information do you solicit from the client?
We only do bathrooms and kitchen backsplashes, so we want to know what the size of the space is, the configuration of the space, and any unusual conditions. And we have to explain to people concepts like square footage and linear footage, and the layout and the colors. And what we really want to know, besides the physical dimension, is what their taste is. What are the products that make them happy?
We encourage our customers to bring their plans with from their house in.
Of course.
And have a space for them to set that up and then walk them through everything and have that conversation. It may not be on the first visit, but if they like what they see, you can encourage them to come back, set up an appointment so you have time to go through step by step with them and be able to plan their house.
We have 3 full-size kitchens with 3 distinctive styles, and it's a lot of time you'll be able to glean from that client which one of these really, appeals to you, and then you can focus on all the details after that. You can at least narrow it down.
I don't have anything to add to that. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much to our panel members. I will invite you to stick around. We're going to be giving the awards for this year's competition. And so please don't go too far. We will be back in just a few minutes. Thank you again.